are finishing up month 3 of this 365 days of growing in my Rise garden. I just want to give you guys an update on where we are, how we have recovered from the fiasco of last month, how things are progressing, and get some new seedlings into the nurseries today so that we will be ready for April to add more life to the garden. So I'm going to flip the camera and show you guys what's going on. One of the things that definitely did not survive was the little pineapple strawberries. So that's a new one I started. It's still not doing great, to be honest. In the mignonette strawberries, it is being dwarfed by this absolutely beautiful Antoinette lettuce that I need to harvest for dinner. We have the beets that did survive. They've come back and grown, but there is like no bulb at all. So I'm going to be taking those out today and we'll make space for something new to come in. Harvested a little bit of the Red Baron bunching chives, which like I said, I'm going to go with onion. I'm just using them as green onions because they do form a bulb. So those have been good, been using those. The butter crunch, we've had some of that. It's got a little bit of tip burn. I do have my handy dandy fan, which is just turned off because otherwise it's way too noisy. But I do have the fan on, so I have to, figure out what's going on there. We did harvest some and it was fine, some of the lower leaves. But this guy's probably going to be coming out soon and we'll start a new one. One of the carrots did come back after the issues with the acidic waters. I left them to see what could survive and come back. Most of the things did. We lost a few. The rosemary is growing very well back there. We've got some parsley in the back. That's the forest green. I'm going to be starting a new one today. The tomato has lots of flowers on it. We have tomatoes as well. This is the mini Siam, which is outgrowing it. I didn't do any pruning on it. We've had a lot going on here. So I will be doing pruning as I plant new ones to kind of show you guys how to do it. But this one has obviously run wild. Down on the lower level, we have the orange snackable pepper, which has some flowers on it. This was the lone survivor of the initial dill that indicated the problems with the pH. Planted a new one as well, but this guy survived, so I had to let him grow. Over here getting shaded out a bit, so I'm going to have to deal with that. We have the celery. This is the cauliflower, which is massive. Then in the corner, we have some lemongrass. So I'm going to start trimming some of those lower leaves. I really shouldn't have put everything else around the cauliflower. Like I knew it was going to get big, but it's good just to learn how big it's going to get. This little Bing tomato is anything but little. It is all over the place. We do have quite a few tomatoes on it. They're pretty, they're on the vine. Yield pea did not survive the acid bath. That one's going to come out. The Mamba sweet pepper here, no fruit that I can see on it yet. Getting overcrowded by the tomato that I'm probably going to have to do something about. So this one, the little Bing, does have suckers on it, and then we can turn it into a new plant. So we'll take one of those suckers off. You wouldn't know, but in the back, there's my jalapeno. Still no jalapenos on that I can see. Over in the back, you can see some cucumbers. It's actually coming out around the side. I'm going to have to redirect that up to the top. Haven't seen any big cucumbers. And there's actually, I really need to deal with this tomato, but there's actually some cabbage back there that we can't even see. So I think part of what we need to do is clean this up a little bit. So there has been a lot of growth. One of the things I thought that would be neat is kind of seeing how this was a month ago. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can kind of see the difference in how much has grown. So far, the only things I've harvested have been the Red Baron bunching onions and some lettuce and the radishes. So we haven't had any huge harvests yet, but we had a big setback, and that's okay. It's all about growing and learning. And I wanted this whole series to be about the reality of growing, and it's not just going to be perfect all the time. I don't know if you guys remember, but when we were thinning, I had taken out some of the tomatoes and the peppers and I put them into soil. I also did the cauliflower and the chard, but full disclosure, I killed them. That's them right there because I forgot to water them. So that's on me. But I want to show you guys how the tomatoes and peppers were doing. So we'll go quickly over to the grow tent and I will show you how amazing they are looking. And these were the ones that I ripped out that had very, very tiny roots. So this is my grow tent. I did a whole video on setting it up. I'll link that up above in case you guys are interested. But here, these are the beautiful peppers and tomatoes that I took out. There's a couple more of these ones I just didn't pot up, so they are a bit smaller, but again, that is on me. But these guys are looking amazing. I'm so happy that I gave them a chance and didn't just throw them away. Loads more other stuff. Got some ginger and borage and onions and all sorts of cool stuff going in here. So in terms of this, I'm going to need to remove this guy. It is so cool when you see the roots are pink. We get those guys out because they are not doing well. Take one of the covers and cover that up. If you're wondering about that, that is a sticky trap that has fallen over and got stuck to everything. I have some yellow sticky traps over there. There is something else going on in here. I think I might have a little bit of thrips going on. They're supposed to be attracted to the blue sticky trap, but honestly, I really would not buy these ones again. These yellow sticky traps I find are much more effective. I'll put a link to them down below. So I'm definitely not planting any beans because thrips love beans. So those ones are not going to go in for a while until I get this sorted. Because this is a little overwhelming down on the bottom, I think I'm going to start by getting the new seeds started in the nursery. I'm going to go get this filled up and then we'll settle it over there. Wish I can do that now, but located over there. I will go fill this up. I love these syringes. I have all different sizes. I use them for just water, for filling up things like that. I have different sizes for getting out nutrients or whatever I'm using. I'll put a link to some of these down below. They are just so handy. So we've got that. And up here, I've got all of my baskets that are clean. Those are dirty ones I still need to clean. So we got 4 of these. I have the ones I want to start. So we have the darky parsley, the bronze fennel, red baron bunching chives / onions, and some of the Napa cabbage. I know this is something I've spoken about many times, but it's just really neat because in these 3 pods, you can see the innovations. That's how they started out, or at least when I first started getting them. Sticker, which is good to tell you what it is, but very hard to get the hole in. Then we moved to the donut with a hole there, and then the latest improvement, they've already put a little pokey hole in there for you to open it up so the light can get to the seed. But anyways, I just love that they are always learning and changing, and that is one of the reasons I love rise gardens. So now I need to get these. I also have the bunching chives over here, and then I need to get these guys into the nursery. Brought the nursery over. I've already put some water in. Putting them that way, I should be able to click them in. We'll put bunching chives. So we will just make the hole there. As we said before, anytime in a hydroponic system where you have nutrients, light, and water, you stand a very good chance of getting algae. So the more that you keep it covered, the less chance there is of that. And we will leave those guys to get started. And I'll come back and check in a second because those are going to suck up some of the water, so I'll need to add in a bit more. I'm going to go and get my pruners, and then we'll take off some of the leaves of the cauliflower and figure out what we are doing with this tomato. And you can see up there it's kind of growing into the light, and we need to get that tidied up. So you can get any pruners, but I just love these little Fiskars ones. They are super sharp. I'll put a link to them down below. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and snip off some of those bottom leaves that are really shading out the other plants and get those out of the way. We'll still leave it with some because it needs that to have energy, but then hopefully that just gives everything else a bit better chance. On the other hand, this tomato is going to need some very aggressive pruning. I'm probably going to take off this whole branch here that's going all the way up. There's a lot of tomatoes on here, and I don't want to lose my other vegetables. There were some flowers on here, but tomatoes are crazy resilient. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and root this guy. So I'm going to stick him in some water and we'll follow up and see how he's doing. Probably going to lose those fruit because I'm going to traumatize it, but we'll see what happens. So now you can see the cucumber in the back, which didn't even use the trellis that much. It just decided to go that way. I'm going to have to figure out how to support this tomato. There's the cabbage I was mentioning. All right, so it's definitely not pretty, but I just used some string just to tie it up. The mini Siam is definitely more civilized. Maybe that's why they're not really doing the little thing anymore. It's going to make some people sad. It's going to do a vigorous pruning here. Otherwise, everything is going to be lost to this tomato. What else can we take off? Here we go, guys. Well, that's a bit better. Sometimes it just takes a rigorous pruning. So we still got lots of tomatoes on there. I'm going to take pea out because that was not doing well. Grab another one of those covers. I think we'll stop there for now. Really hoping I get some of those cucumbers soon. A little bit more organized, a little bit more civilized. Then I'll get this guy in some water and I will show you what's going on in the next update. So that's it for the March update. If you are looking for some ideas of some different dwarf plants you can grow on the top shorter level of the rise garden, you can check out this video where I go through a whole bunch of different dwarf vegetables that I enjoy growing in here.